Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Here locally in the community, make sure y'all go check out New Cat Body by Jeremy Jones.
Good afternoon. It is Luons Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a fantastic day here in wherever you are. But I am in sunny Burton, Michigan, with a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. Having to use the mobile hotspot again because there's an internet outage. Imagine that. No T-Mobiling today. So I'm going to start off with this. It's another slow news one. So let's start the Lions defensive starter grades from last season because some of them aren't even on the roster. And I want to get into it a little bit. And I'm going to change a couple grades. These are the opinions of somebody else that posted them. So I'm going to put them up here. I agree with Aiden Hudson and Aleem McNeil. I agree with Alex Anzalone. Let me get the caption off the screen here. Ifeatu Melifonwu and Brian Branch, yeah, I give them A's, but at the same time, Ifeatu Melifonwu was a very smaller window to grade off of. So I might have even gone A minus. He did great when he showed up, but it was a very small sample size in 6 games. Romeo Aquara was our original starting defensive end, and he was straight booty cheeks. I would have gave him a D minus. Benito Jones, I'd have gave him an F. Jack Campbell, I actually would have gave him a C plus. He did better than I expected as a rookie, but mostly because they finally moved him back to his natural position at middle linebacker. But he's not used to being the weak side middle linebacker. He's used to being the Mike. So hopefully he takes that step forward like they're talking about. Everybody has been talking about it all the OTAs, how much more leadership wise he looks. Maybe he'll be the guy that takes over and Alex Anzalone will get that secondary position in that linebacker group. Kirby Joseph, people say B plus. I say A minus. Smoking dad in the building, saying hello, kiddo. F minus is not a grade. It's a straight F. I actually almost would give it an incomplete because it's like as soon as he got started, he got hurt and never was the same after that. Khalif Dorsey getting a D. I don't agree with that. Kendall Vildor, I'd have gave the D. I'd have gave Khalil Dorsey a C because he was never expected to make this roster. And he actually played. Okay, let's get to this. B plus for Kirby. I think that's a little high for this. Believe it or not, he had a better season than his rookie year. He has the exact same type of stats as Kyle Hamilton, who is rated as the fourth best safety in the entire league. And if Kyle Hamilton gets an A plus, then Kirby should get at least an A minus. He was just left off the list for some god awful reason who had better stats than everybody behind Kyle Hamilton. So I disagree, Brent. He actually did better. He had more interceptions. He went from 3 to 4. He had more passes defended, and he had more tackles. I think Romeo was a D minus. He was awful. He had one meaningful snap. One. And then disappeared just like his brother. That's why neither one are on the roster. We can say what we want, but that's 100% why neither one of them got extended. They're off the roster for a reason. I hated the fact that we had Benito Jones even on the field. So here's my fun one. Which couple that got married in the past couple of weeks has a baby first? The Goffs or the Rodriguez family? Exactly, Brent DeWitt. A lower grade for Kirby because he's a Lions. It wouldn't be the first time, and it's not again. Him and Branch were our two best defenders for the entire season. Branch gets an A, but everybody leaves Kirby off of that A list. And I think it's wrong. He deserves an A or an A minus. They were our two best defenders in the secondary, and it isn't even close. Yeah, I think the Rodriguez family has the baby first. Um, I'm almost wondering if they're not pregnant already and that you'll see a Super Bowl week born baby. And because the football news is so slow, Captain Jack I thought he got engaged. He got married? Congratulations to Jack, too. But what other sports do you follow and want to talk about than Lions football? Because, it's so slow. We can actually talk about other things going on in the sports world. And because it's my show and I don't give two shits what people think about my opinion, I think what the WNBA in general is allowing to happen to Caitlin Clark after everything that happened in this offseason that she helped them get is a travesty. Stomach's talking to me. Might be a bad morning. And I ate too. I just want to know if anybody wants to talk about any other sports out there. Um, I think the only reason why Clark's being treated the way she's treated, it's not because she's a rookie coming in with hype, because we've seen that before. And they were not treated with this type of disrespect. And I'm going to address the elephant in the room, and it's less that she's white. I think it's because she's heterosexual. Because most of the stars in the WNBA are not. I don't think it's race. I think it's that white there. And that's just my personal opinion. If it wasn't for Clark, the players would still all be people don't understand that the CC drama is building interest. Right. It is. Uh, Caitlin Clark the other night stopped a girl from getting hit in the head with a basketball coming off the rim that she shot after the play was called dead because she was fouled. And the girl got mad because she thought she swung at her and she was ready to go. Her teammate was trying to stop her and explain, hey, you'd have been hit in the head with the basketball from behind. She was doing you a favor. She didn't care. She wanted to fight her. She wanted to scrap. And it's 100% because I think because of her sexual orientation. Much as I hate to say it, if she was gay, she'd be accepted better. But here we are, 41 subscribers away from 500. Make sure you share this with your other Lions fans. Sport fans in general. Tonight is the big one. It is the AFC North and the NFC North reviews. I already have a Bears fan locked in. I have a Ravens fan locked in. I have my usual guests locked in that usually come on. It's a big night, people. I need a Vikings fan. I need a Packers fan to step up to come on to a Lions show. This Lions fan has stepped up and been on several Packers shows, and not one has offered to come on mine. What percentage of the WNBA league is gay? About 89% of it. Straight white girl in the WNBA? Rare. LOL. Yeah, 89% of that league is gay. And now that Gay Pride Month is over, and this is a men's figure skating. Jeez, Orlando. Man, you picked some good ones. Woo! Yeah, I wouldn't know the first thing to talk about on that sport. Potential they are not. They are on the road. That is why there is no shows with the Sports Exchange going on. Or with South Florida Tribune. They are off and running. They're traveling again. Now this is kind of a shout out to the Huddle group because I know that I've been on Packer fan shows and taken the heat that has been dished out to me and given it back in little doses because in all actuality with the history of the Lions, we don't have a lot of room to talk a lot of crap if you're talking historically, but if you're talking recent history, we have a lot of room. Chaz Michaels, my favorite Detroit hero. Is that the guy from Blades of Steel? I have no clue. Blades of Glory. Like I just said, I haven't seen the whole movie. No, I haven't. New Lion subject will be how they handle attrition because it will be a factor. What attrition are you talking about, T-Bone? Let me elaborate on that because I want to know what attrition you're thinking of. Oh, injuries? Uh, we have more depth on this roster than I've ever seen. I talked about this several times. I think we have the deepest roster I've ever seen in my life. It's not the most talented. It's just got the most depth. I think we can handle the injuries better than we have in the past. And if you actually look at it, we handled the injuries pretty good last year with a lesser roster. I think this roster is more talented than last year overall, but I think it's a deeper talent roster wise. I'm gonna say this right now, and I don't mean any disrespect to James Houston, but if he's not healthy after week 2 of training camp and cannot pass his physical, I think he starts out on the practice squad again and gets moved to the IR for 8 weeks, and we'll see a season much like his rookie year. Yeah, it's I don't know if it's Super Bowl or bust this year. I think it's at least Super Bowl this year, as far as getting to it. I think next year is winning the Super Bowl or bust. I know we all want to host the Lombardi, but I have said since we hired Dan Campbell, it would happen in the 2025-26 season, and I'm sticking to my guns that that's the year the Lions win it. I just I want to buy in and be Homer, but I can't. I'm sticking to my guns. I think we're gonna have a great year, and then we're gonna get there, but we may fall short. That's my honest opinion. There is no new Lions news other than people being married. Yeah, I think he will get if he does isn't healthy by week 2 at training camp and cannot play a meaningful snap in the preseason, I do believe James Houston gets waived. And if he's hurt, he'll survive it because he can't pass a physical. That's my point. Um, Other than people getting married, we've had Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez, and Jared Goff get married over the past few weeks. And I thought he got engaged, but somebody said he was married. Yes, this means no Michael Thomas. This means no slant boy. We have the better version who does more on this roster of that particular wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. I have said this for weeks. Brad Holmes loves our wide receiver room. Um, did he really miss a lot of time? Because I saw where he only missed 5 games in 4 years. I didn't see where he missed a lot of time. Let me double check it because I only saw 5 games in 4 years because he almost had 1,000 yards every season. Okay, he missed 4 games in 2021. No, 20, no, 20, and one 4 games and 3 games in only 3 games last year in Detroit. He didn't miss a lot of time. Games played in 2020, which was a 16-game season, he played 15. In 2019, he played 16. In 2021, which was 17, was 13 games. That's only 4 games, right? So that's 4 or 5 games he missed in 3 years. He missed 1 game in 2022. That's 6, and 3 games in 2023. He's missed a total of 9 games in 5 years. Robert Swift, Juju is looking for a new home. Let him. He's straight booty cheeks. He had 1 good year with AB opposite him. As soon as he became the number 1 option for teams, he sucked. Which position group is our weakest? Yeah, it'd be the linebacker room, but that's because it's the least amount of them needed. It's very top heavy, but we've got some good depth there actually. Malcolm Rodriguez, um, Derek Barnes. Yeah, you probably had him in the year that he missed the most, which was 2021. T-Bone Lokes. That was the year he missed 4 games. CB room is unproven, but it's not our weakest room anymore. Um, right. It's exactly what I said. Yeah, but what everybody's basing that on is the fact that they forgot he already restructured to be here. I don't think our wide receiver room is weak at all. I think everybody's underrating Khalif Raymond because everybody forgets how clutch he was because he wasn't there the entire end of season or the postseason. I think everybody forgets about that part. And Khalif Raymond is just a shorter version of JMO. I just think he's a slightly better route runner because he's been in the league. Damn, we're so well rounded. um, if you're going by top end talent, yes. The wide receiver room is weak compared to a few teams. But the fact that PFF rates our wide receiver room as the 7th best in the NFL says that us Lions fans are underrating our wide receiver room. It's linebackers. It's linebackers because it's the fewest of any position needed on the roster. Our defensive tackle interior, while everybody talks crap, is rated as the best in the NFL by PFF. Yep, some people keep forgetting about DPJ, which took him a few weeks to get started before he started making catches, but was very clutch throughout the playoffs. He was only targeted 5 times and had 4 catches. Oh, thank you, Matt Henry. Good afternoon, Brent. Good to see you. Been a minute. You're doing well. because of the free fans don't understand that we have a 1A, 1B situation at wide receivers. I know. I think that's why Brad didn't grab edge this year. You Brent DeWitt, everybody said I think the edge room was very overrated this year in the draft. I think the two best ones were Laiatu Letu and Jared Verse. And Dallas Turner is way overrated. I don't think he's going to do as well in the NFL. I know. I think they're saving the money for injury signings. If we do get hurt, is when we're going to go grab somebody. You know what's funny? Is Lions fans are griping that we're not going out and grabbing these wide receivers that are free agents, yet no one else is either. That should tell you everything you need to know. It may be, but I think they're willing to ring. It was reported that Brad was going to draft Darius Robinson if Arnold wasn't there. DE still an area he wants to. Yeah, I understand that. But the problem is he was able to get Arnold. Yeah, and Wingo has taken more snaps at defensive end through OTA so far because Broderick Martin has been playing better than expected. So am I. I think Wingo's going to be excellent depth for both positions. Right now, I got him as our DT4 because he's been used as our defensive end for as well. And I that keeps his legs fresh for either position by being in that fourth position. And as much as anybody hates to hear it, Broderick Martin is our DT3. Levi Wuzariki is the DT5. And that's the most I've seen any NFL roster carry is 5 defensive tackles. Yeah, that's where we're at. There isn't a lot of needs on this roster. And the only reason we didn't re-sign Josh Reynolds, you're talking about a rookie. That's gonna happen. A rookie year i- is undone. You're right. Some are way too impatient. I'm trying to get at that. You're talking about a guy that was a compensatory pick after the initial 95 spots that were taken. Because remember, the Miami Dolphins didn't have a first round pick that year. That's why there was only 31 in the first round. So there was 95 initial picks in the first 2 rounds. After that is compensatory. We got him at 96, the first compensatory pick, which is essentially like saying he's the first fourth rounder. Hypotheticals, you wouldn't mind? No, absolutely. I love hypotheticals. If they make sense, I answer them. I will tell you my most impressive interviews. There was 4 out of the 11 that were done the first day of the draft. The first one was Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to be way better than a lot of people expect him to be. Number 2 was Laiatu Letu. Number 3 was Darius Robinson. I'm not going to lie. I If we'd have stayed at 29 and been able to get him, but the Cardinals took him at 27, which tells me we wouldn't have. And I know for a fact Green Bay was taking Arnold at 25. The knee-jerk reaction was taking Morgan when they probably should have taken Cooper DeJean. I understand offensive line was a need, but the offensive line My hypothetical would be trading for Parsons. Parsons wants a bag. He plays the same side of the field that Hutchinson does, so I don't think that works. Again, let me say this real clearly for everybody. The opinions of Jeremy Ballrick Jr. did not reflect the the views of kneecap biting with the Motor City Lions. No is the simple answer, Jeremy Ballrick Jr. Parsons also wants a major bag. We already have to re-sign a Lean, and plus the position Micah to the Commanders is still a go. Yeah, it is because they have the cap room and the draft capital to do it, and they don't have either edge anymore in Chase Young or Montez Sweat, and it makes a lot more sense. Reeder has had two quad injuries in his career so far, and was on his second contract or third? I can't remember. I don't think Zietler falls off because that guy's Zietler really doesn't have an injury history outside of his second year in the league. He's approaching 185 straight games played. So is undone. I don't know where you get Zietler's injury history. Because other than his second year where he missed like half a season, he hasn't missed a game. He's missed snaps, but not games. I know, Brent, about Broderick Martin. I think and we all forget DJ Reader and Marcus Davenport was brought in because there's no vets with longer than a 3-year tender on our defensive line this year. Think about that. There's no vets on this roster with longer than a 3-year tender in the NFL. Uh, it's looking like he will be a backup tackle, but he is raw. They're working on him because the Canadian football college rules are a little bit different than NFL rules about how they use their hands, and they're teaching him the NFL way to use his hands. But as far as not letting somebody get to the QB, it's not a problem. And I agree with that also, Brent. But I'm looking at it from a cap standpoint too. About building the team and keeping the core in place. Does anybody disagree that Aleem McNeil is a core of this defense? Anybody in the chat disagree with that statement? Rob wasn't a Detroit fan, but he wants to be in Detroit. There's a big difference there. Who will start more games, Amik or Arnold? Arnold. Uh, and he goes, I do think Aleem is and Anzalone is. I don't think Anzalone is a long-term answer. He's getting long in the tooth. He's going to be 30 this year? Linebackers don't play much longer than 30, 31 years old. This is the last year of his contract. I agree, Robert Swift. Aleem earned another contract. And the average pay for a good defensive starting tackle is around 17 to 20 million. Yes, I know this is undone, which that's a big resigning. 17 to 20 million is your average good starters, and Aleem's going to get every bit of that or more, especially if he progresses again this season with better coaching because everybody's under appreciating the fact that Terrell Williams being here. Do you remember how little was on the Titans defensive core on the D line a few years back? And yet they sacked Joe Burrow, what was it, 9 times? I understand they have a horrible O line. I think with the better assistance that less will be put on AG. And I think AG learned something from Dan Campbell last year after he helped put his hands on the defense. T-Bone, because remember, Dan Campbell after that Chicago game was so distraught. He said, "I got to put my hands on the defense," and we 100% flipped the script from that point on. We flipped the script from that point on and was a more aggressive defense the rest of the season. And Brent, you're exactly right. And I'm going to say this: Deshae Townsend was a very underrated move as well. Because the one thing you can say, even though the Titans have had a bad defense, they get after the quarterback. They've got a bad defense because they've had bad coaching. And I hope so. We were hoping he'd learn from Todd Wash too, but evidently he didn't because we saw the regression as far as sacks last year. Even though there was more sacks and it seemed like there was more pressures, it didn't look as good as it did during that run when we got better the year before, did it? Our defense was so bad during the losing streak, we forgot how decent it looked, our passing game. After that, we were on pace for the worst passing defense in the NFL during our that 1-7 run. Oh my, something's not agreeing with my stomach. It's churning and a gurgling. I hope the mic isn't picking it up, but if it is, I agree. What's Kaminsky's role this season? Probably the same as last year. It's backing up Hutchinson for the 9% of the snaps he's off the field. Occasionally filling in if someone is hurt at defensive tackle is depth. I think that's why he'll stay on the roster. I think Pascal stays on the roster. I think the odd man out right now is Houston if he's not healthy. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the pieces that helped Terrell. Terrell with a proven edge is a recipe for success. I can't believe the Lions will have four completely different corners on the team, and only Mosley, who played one game, he played 2 snaps. We still have Khalil Dorsey. We still have Stephen Gilmore that was here in the offseason last year. We'd have had Cam Sutton if he wasn't stupid. That's a huge investment in that position, and I'm stoked. Yes, 100%. We needed that investment in that division. Because if he wasn't even, what's Aleem's ceiling this offseason? This season? All pro? Possibly. I think he was very close in the voting by the media and his teammates to make all pro last year. So yeah, I do think he could have an all pro season. Because think about this. The reason why Aleem got shut down in the middle of the season is they just had to double him. Isaiah Buggs wasn't playing. Benito Jones was hardly ever used. Or Broderick Martin was hardly ever used. And we started Benito Jones. Benito Jones, who played 602 snaps. And I had one double team the entire time. One double team. Put that in perspective. Isaiah Buggs played 6 games before he got benched. Had 290 snaps, was double teamed 32 times. Broderick Martin has 18 snaps and was double teamed 10 times. What does that tell you about Benito Jones? Is undone. Is there a world where they don't re-sign Aleem and he asks for too much money? I think as long as Aleem doesn't approach that 30 million a year mark, I think we're good. I think anything 25 or less, they'll pay it. That's just my opinion. I think they're going to make him a top 10 paid defensive tackle, which is anywhere from 17.5 to 25 million. 25 is the same as the top 5. Yep, we had crap up the middle last year except for Aleem. You're absolutely right. But think about what I just said there. In those 6-7 games that Isaiah Buggs played, he was double tuned 32 times. And Keegan Eckert says he can go wrap a tortilla at Chipotle for all I care. And that is why I called him Burrito Jones. He got wrapped up quicker than a hot tortilla. Tonight might be the longest show we had. I'm trying to get a representative for all AFC North. I already got a Pittsburgh fan, too. I got a Pittsburgh fan. I got a Ravens fan. I've got a Bears fan. We need to locate a Vikings, a Packers. Might be able to get a Bengals fan. So what does that leave? Oh, yeah, the Brownies. Need a Brownies fan. That'll get us all 8. I'm excited for this show tonight. I think it's going to be fun. And the reason why on these way too early predictions, I do less of the exact uh, win loss. I do more of the window of wins with a floor and a ceiling. If Aleem ball out this year, how much do you think we'll have to pay him to stay? Like I said, top 15 to top 5 money is where I think it'll be Brent DeWitt. Just in my opinion, I think it's going to be somewhere between 17.5 and 25 million. Top 5 is 25 million, and 17.5 is the bottom end of the top 15. So somewhere in that range. I think if he starts asking for top 3 money, which gets you into that 30 million range, we might have to back off and make him wait a little bit and sweat it out. What do you think about the kickers? I believe the new rules that Bates will have an advantage. I'm not 100% that Bates will be the one that beats out Badgley. Yeah, 22 million-ish. That's right in the middle. That's where I said. Somewhere around, I didn't say it'd be at the top. Are the Lions doing a tribute video to Stafford week 1? Yeah, they're going to show the video of Kelly Stafford talking about banging his backup QB at Georgia. That's my goal, my prediction. Come on, wouldn't that be epic? Wouldn't that be epic? The epic troll. Show that video on the big screen. Well, Matt wouldn't commit, and he was always the goody two shoe guy. So I went for the bad guy as backup, who was Matt Stafford's college roommate at the time. Think about that. Come on, wouldn't that be the greatest troll move by the Lions ever? Saying we moved on. Put that video up on the big screen. I got her new nickname. It's Ratchet Stafford. Stafford has to live here. He's getting everything that he has coming. Absolutely. Stafford wanted out of town so he can stay out of town. Absolutely. Am I not saying that Stafford is probably the second best quarterback in Lions history? No, I'm not. Am I saying he has to get out of town because he didn't like the fact we didn't hire Daryl Blevins to be the coach? I'm a team above player guy. He has to leave. Get the fuck out. Now, if when he retires, he says he's going to be a Lion, we'll accept him for a 1-day contract, let him retire a Lion. Then I'll give him tribute. Until then, he's not a Lion. We will kick his butt out of town. Come on, wouldn't that be the ultimate troll job? They post that video of Kelly Stafford talking about banging his college roommate and backup QB because Stafford didn't want to commit to a one-on-one relationship at the time. The relationship with the backup QB lasted 3 days. 3 days later, Stafford, she went into her room after leaving Joe Cox from the night before, went into her room to grab stuff to go to school, came back out, and Matt was sitting in the passenger seat. Agreed. If you don't want to be here, we don't want you. I thought the whole story was hilarious. That would be the ultimate troll job. It would be. I think it would be great. Embarrass Kelly at the same time. Because, number one, what's the only thing Lions fans hated about Matt Stafford? His wife's mouth. 100%. The last 3 years, we were so sick of Kelly Stafford, we were complaining about it on Lions chat services. I think it would be great. I'm going to make this suggestion. Get in his head and make him have the worst game he ever had because Matt Stafford, under pressure, he folds like a cheap suit. We've seen it. The only pressure he comes back from is when you think he can't come back from an injury and he'll come back in the game and do something spectacular. We've seen it. I'm going to give him credit where credit is due. That man is as tough as nails. I'm not going to lie. He's not a China doll like people think. Kelly was a drama queen, 100%. I think it's great that Isaiah Buggs was denied bail for everything he's done this offseason and got in trouble for. Yeah, he does. Screw it. Someone's down there somewhere. Phew. So Thursday morning, I get to be a guest with Kurt Steele, 8 a.m. I have to wake up early and try to look pretty. That's hard to do. I know I'm uglier than I have a face for radio, but I'm on TV. I can officially say that now. I'm not just on YouTube. I'm on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick. I'm so ugly. I was spoon fed by Slingshot as a toddler. LOL. Yes. So look for the Boss Up and Ball Out podcast Thursday morning. I will be there with the Man of Steel. I believe his regulars will be on the show too, which is Wolva Lion, Coach Mike Jones, and LL Cool Torrance. All good friends. They've all been on this show at one point or another. Can you believe I'm almost to my 3,000th show already now that I'm doing more shows? It was just in January before I started going live this much that I did my 2,000th show. I think right after the start of the season will be my 3,000th show. And if it wasn't for all you fans being here and me constantly growing, I wouldn't keep it. I have to be doing something right because everybody keeps coming back and talking to me. So, for all the Lions fans that have hit every other Lions show, please put it in the chat. Do you not get burnt out? No, I don't. As you notice, I'll make up topics just to be able to talk football with you guys. It's fun. It makes me use my brain more. Because you know what? If you don't use it, you lose it. That's why my memory's good. That's why I can remember stats. That's why I can remember that David Montgomery only missed like 4 to 6 games in his entire time at Chicago. He missed 3 games here, which is the most he's missed at any time in his career. But at the same time, is it that big a deal? It really isn't. I'm just amazed that people ask about attrition due to injuries and doesn't remember we had injuries last year and still went 12-5, and technically with almost as tough of a schedule as we were given this year. Last year we had the 13th toughest schedule. This year we have the 11th. You know why it's only the 11th? We didn't get stuck playing the Chiefs again. Which in all actuality, how it's supposed to break down, we should have been playing the Chiefs again. We kind of got robbed of that game. I feel sorry for Green Bay fans that might have to hide the fact they're wearing green when they go to the stadium there in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And it's been proven defunct. It is not because of gang related stuff. It's because that soccer club has a rival soccer club that wears green. Well, have to run. Okay, Brent. I hope you have a fantastic day. It was just about time for me to get into our favorite part of the show, my sponsors. We are sponsored by FTD. Fornicate the Packers for the pride. Haven't seen Fred for a minute. I hope he's doing all right. Has anybody heard from Fred Peterson in the other chats? I hope he's okay. Yes, and hit the like button while you're on the way out. Share it some of the other Lions groups. I don't belong to all of them because I cannot take some of the trolls that are out there, even in our own fan base. I like intelligent takes. If you're going to say something bad, at least make it intelligent. Make it make sense to me. Because I love a good debate. I'll debate you. But I 100% love our team. And as long as players are on our team, I love them players too. As soon as they're off this team, he's a bum. Don't care. They could be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And he's off the team. He's a bum. I hope he fails. I hope he bombs out. I never once said I was a Detroit Rams fan, and nor will I. We didn't hang a banner because our former QB won a Super Bowl. Number 2 sponsor is Brandon's Tire Service at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, right here in Flint, Michigan, where the tires are good but the water's shit. 602 West Atherton Road. If used tires start at $40 a piece, new tires, call to get your quote, 810-233-8230. Talk to George, Red, or myself. If you're buying a set of tires, you will get $10 off your set, regardless if old or new. They trusted us to work on this 1963 European Silver Phantom Rolls Royce. If they trusted us to work on that, you should trust us to work on your average car that you drive every day. Come on, that's funny as hell. In sunny Flint, Michigan, where the water's shit, but the tires are good. It has been my pleasure to talk to you gentlemen today. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to all of ya. Is undone. Everybody. Keegan, Brent, both Brents, Brent and Brent DeWitt. Paul Jones, if you're out there, love you, brother. Matt Henry, Yoli Cruz, I hope you're out there too. Bumford, yes, Bumford charcoal, also known as Stafford charcoal, not as good as Kingsford, leaves a bitter aftertaste. Keegan Eckert, love you, brother. Hopefully you can be on tonight because it's going to be a good show. That being said, it is time to leave you with our outro.
Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.